Hi, I'm Darren and welcome to New Factory Classics. Today we're going to break down Deadpool. The movie begins with a slow journey through a chaotic scene where Deadpool is killing a bunch of goons. The first R-rated Marvel film of the modern age has begun. Cut to Deadpool riding in a taxi with Dopinder. While he wasn't given a credit during the opening scene, Dopinder will become a loyal sidekick soon enough. They talk about love and loss and how you should never let love get out of your grasp. It seems Deadpool is on his way to get some delicious revenge on the man that made his face look like Edward James Olmos. Ajax, or Francis, is the villain of this movie. He's a mutant just like Deadpool. Yes, this movie still takes place during the Foxverse, so every hero and every villain will be a mutant. Though there's about 87 fourth wall breaks, so don't expect to miss out on too many MCU jokes. Deadpool jumps off a freeway overpass, kills about 10 of Francis's men. He does hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of property damage, injures several civilians. That's right, Deadpool is not a hero, and he'll make sure that you know that throughout the movie. Alerted to all the chaos that Deadpool is doing, Colossus and his teenage sidekick, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, show up. Colossus has been trying to get Deadpool to join the X-Men for a long time now, but Deadpool doesn't want to be a hero, he doesn't want to be part of a team, and he doesn't want to live with a bald, disabled British man. Deadpool only has a limited amount of bullets left when reinforcements arrive. He'll have to be very careful as he goes through killing these men. But he doesn't have to be all that careful because Deadpool is unkillable. He doesn't have to worry about being shot. He's like a child going to a high school outside of the United States. Now it's time for a flashback to start seeing how we got here. 2 years ago, Wade Wilson used to be a mercenary for hire, doing whatever he can to help whoever asks for it as long as they have the cash. For example, Wade beats the hell out of a pizza delivery man because he keeps bothering some teenage girls. I myself beat up my neighbor's Uber Eats guy the other day because I thought maybe that guy also bothers some girls. We get introduced to Sister Margaret, a place where all the other mercenaries hang out to take jobs. A hive of lowlifes that will do anything for money as long as it falls within their code. TJ Miller shows up. He's the comedy relief to a man that's actually funnier than him. Now the Deadpool is a mercenary game where they bet to see which one of them will die next. We have the same thing at my job, except instead of betting on who's going to get shot, it's who's going to die from early onset diabetes. Wade meets Vanessa, a beautiful prostitute that he uses all of his remaining cash to take her on a date to an arcade. I don't know what else you would do with the lady of the night. There's a montage of, let's say, them dating throughout the year, and they're enjoying every single holiday, doing everything they can to enjoy it in their special way. They end up actually getting engaged on Christmas. It looks like nothing can go wrong for Wade. Actually, Wade immediately passes out and is diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Back to the current timeline. Deadpool captures Francis and is about to execute him, but Colossus stops him. A hero would never kill someone in public. Back to the cancer storyline. Wade doesn't even want to fight the cancer. It doesn't seem like it will actually work, but Vanessa keeps coming up with all these different ideas on how to fight it. But he doesn't want Vanessa to see him slowly shriveling up and becoming a cancer patient. He'd rather go off and die alone, like a little cat in a corner. While drowning his sorrows at a bar and discussing how death is inevitable, he is approached by a man who looks creepy. In fact, this actor has made a career of always looking creepy. The man represents an organization that's interested in Wade. As before, when he was in Special Forces, he had 41 confirmed kills. They'd like to try their best to heal him, trigger his mutant abilities, and make him a superhero. But as Wade will say throughout the movie, he's no hero. While Wade was okay with dying, he didn't want Vanessa to see him this way, so he ends up leaving her, and he contacts the organization. Maybe they'll be able to heal him, maybe they won't, but at least he won't be dying of cancer anymore. Back to Deadpool getting his ass kicked by Colossus. Colossus pins Deadpool and is yelling at him, "Why won't you follow the rules? Why won't you be an X-Men? You could easily be a hero." Unfortunately, while he's yelling at Deadpool, Francis escapes. Colossus attempts to arrest Deadpool, but he ends up cutting off his arms and jumping off of a freeway. And just like a lot of the kids at my high school, they'd rather cut off their hands than go to class. Also, shout out to this chick who obviously has an incredible haircut. Now fade back to the origin story. Wade wakes up at a dark, wet warehouse. This doesn't seem like the cancer treatment facility he was hoping for. The lead scientist is Ajax, and his job is to trigger an evolution inside of Wade in one way or another. So in regards to actually getting that evolution, what they're going to do is give a bunch of medicine to Wade and constantly torture him until it either kills him or triggers his evolution. It's very similar to how you get Eevee to evolve in the later generations. They repeatedly torture Wade and try and get him to evolve, but it just doesn't seem to work. Just pain, torture, repeat. It's actually very similar to how we treat cancer patients in real life, except the bill that Wade will get will be significantly less. Wade starts pissing off Ajax by continually calling him Francis, which is his birth name and not his supervillain name. So a pissed off Francis uses his ultimate weapon to actually trigger evolution, a oxygen deprivation system. The system removes oxygen from the chamber until the patient almost dies and then floods it back with oxygen to bring them back. It turns out Francis had no desire to actually make Wade a superhero. He was actually going to make him a super slave and sell him to the highest bidder. This is exactly why I never leave bars with random dudes anymore. I've fallen for this too many times. A weekend of this torture actually did trigger Wade to become a superhero. He can constantly heal. If you cut off a limb, it'll heal back. If you get sick, it'll heal. If you burn him, if you cut him, anything you do to Wade, he will heal. Unfortunately, it permanently damaged his skin and he'll constantly look like a burn victim for the rest of his life. Angel Dust is always chewing on matches, and Wade ends up stealing one and lighting up the pure oxygen, triggering an explosion. You know, constantly chewing on matchsticks is why the National Cancer Institute fired Angel Dust in the first place. Also, nobody likes Gina Carano. The fire destroys the lab, leaving Ajax and Wade to fight in the burning building. But Ajax ends up impaling Wade, leaving him to die. But since Wade can't be burned to death, it's more of just an inconvenience of having to wait for the building to burn down around him than an actual death sentence. Wade emerges from the burning building a new man, a hideous, ugly, deformed man, but he's got superpowers nonetheless. He's ashamed of his new looks though, so he can't go and see Vanessa. He has to don a mask and hide who he is. He has to become something more. He has to become Deadpool. And so Deadpool goes on a killing spree, working his way up the ladder trying to get to Francis. He even tortures that Agent Smith fella all the way up to finding out that Francis will be moving stuff on that freeway. Cut to this morning present day when he goes into a taxi and rides with Dopinder. I promise only 10 to 20 more time jumps in this breakdown. After cutting off his hand to escape Colossus and the teen, Deadpool rides in a dump truck home. He's currently living with Blind Al. It's great that the person that he cohabitates with is blind, so they don't have to look at his grilled cheese face every single day. Now Francis knows who the person behind the red mask is, and he's off to hunt Deadpool. Yes, Wade revealing himself to be Deadpool was probably not the best idea. It's exactly why I never revealed that I am Zorro. Francis kidnaps Vanessa. He wants to get to Wade and she's the perfect bait. Yes, why not kill the fiancé of the unkillable man that's been going after your business and destroying it? Personally, I would just move to a new state, but we all have our own ways of running a business. Being that Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead were the reasons why Francis got away, Deadpool ends up recruiting them to help him go on his mission. So it's Deadpool, a giant metal man, and a very angry teenage lesbian against an army. Plus, no one can stop the X-Men. They're uncanny, for God's sakes. Colossus is equally matched by Angel Dust. They're both very strong, almost unkillable, and have an incredible manly jawline. Deadpool and Warhead make short work of the army of guys. 20 men versus 2 super mutants won't be that hard. Now it's time for Wade to get his girl and kill Francis. Deadpool has to fight Francis all the while trying to save Vanessa. During the fight, Deadpool actually gets stabbed in the brain and becomes temporarily mentally handicapped. And after briefly becoming a NASCAR fan mid-fight, Deadpool eventually pulls the knife from his brain and regains his mental faculties. The boat they're fighting on eventually collapses, and Deadpool has to throw Vanessa into the oxygen deprivation chamber in order to save her from crashing to the ground. Luckily, the chamber saves her, and it actually does not become her coffin. Deadpool ends up holding a gun to Francis's head, but Colossus stops him, letting him know that this is a chance for him to become a hero, make the right choice, and not execute someone in cold blood. But Deadpool ain't no hero, so he executes Francis right in front of everyone. And you know what? Francis can't kill anyone anymore. Maybe Batman should take some notes. Wade now has to live through his worst fear, revealing his ugly new face to Vanessa. But after an initial shock, she eventually accepts him. Plus, as a stripper, a prostitute, and a waitress, she's seen the evils of mankind, and his face isn't so bad. So there you have it. The Merc with the Mouth saved the day. He saved his girl, killed an army of minions, and even killed a supervillain. Things are looking up for Deadpool. And now I have seen it, so you don't have to. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.